Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be doing something different. Today we are going through body positivity, just body positivity TikToks, yes. They won't include all fat acceptance TikToks, there's going to be a mix of that in here, but I just want to see what the overall perception of people is when it comes to body positivity just on its own, exclusively. So yeah, let's just get into it. How are we in 2023 and people are still showing the 1%, not the 99%? So this is this girl showing off the 1%, sucking in the gut, pushing out the butt, giving that strut, like something that rhymes with that I shouldn't say because it's rude to call people. But yeah, let's just see what this kind of like leads into, that 1% to 99% of people-ism. Yep, a pretty normal human being with an abdomen of organs that are no longer being, like, I don't know, solidified definitely by an abdominal wall. I don't know, man. I feel like, again, like, this person looks great before, looks great after. They're a human being as long as they're happy and healthy. That's all that matters. But it is interesting because, yeah, the 1% would show that this is actually, like, you know, it's not right, like it's not perfect or whatever, because our perception of perfection is going to be more on the line of having that perfectly slim, slick body. But in reality, this is a very healthy human body, just on like, you know, first glance. And it's very interesting because the perfectionism that comes with that 1% that you oftentimes see on social media, that perfect picture that you see, it's not like applicable to most people, even when they have a normal body weight, you know? So if that's what you're seeking out in yourself constantly, it can build this like very venomous, perfectionistic mindset about how you don't look good when you look fine, when you look normal, when your body isn't like flawed or anything like that. You're just comparing yourself to somebody who has taken a snapshot of themselves at a very, you know, perfect kind of moment, a very perfect time with their abs like clenched up, their gut sucked in, having the perfect angle and everything like that. And it's just not actually realistic for most people 99% of the time. It's not just the 1% of people, it's the 1% of the time that you usually will take the kind of like perfect pictures, and that other 99% of the time, this is more what it is. So it's very interesting. And also it plays on the minds of people very commonly. Like this actually does bother a lot of people. Why can't I look like this girl in this picture all the time? Or why do I look so bad in every other picture other than one? Why do I always look so bad except for when I pose perfectly in the mirror? It builds a very extreme mindset on the way you should be looking, you know, especially on camera, but just in general, like in your day-to-day living, you know? You never know also how many people use things like Photoshop, how many people modify their pictures, get perfect angles, take angles with certain lenses and cameras and stuff to make it look even better, perfect lighting to show off all your musculature. People don't really think about it, and then when they compare themselves in like normal lighting with a normal body that has food in it and, you know, isn't like dehydrated from sleep or something like that, because you usually get more hydrated throughout the day, when you compare yourself in a more normal setting to somebody who's, you know, shredded to the gills or in that perfect picture, it gets kind of crazy. It just gets kind of crazy, and you can't like live up to that expectation, and it bothers you. Showing you what tummies look like during circuits because most of social media won't. Part 1. So far, these are not overweight or obese individuals. They are just normal people who have normal, like, physical bodies and aren't, like, showing off, like, perfect angles on camera. In fact, they're trying to do the opposite to make the point that those like perfect angles aren't realistic for most people. And I do think this is actually quite common. A lot of people really get insecure about the fact that they don't look picture perfect or model perfect in all of these pictures or, you know, on social media or in real life when they're working out, when in reality, you're supposed to work out for your health. You're not supposed to be like focused on having everything be perfect and your body be like the ultimate design of what you think a human being should look like. It's just very interesting. And I'm not really one for being like, oh, break the system, like, oh, let's like show everybody how it really is. But it's just an interesting perspective because a lot of people, when they see these pictures on social media or they see these perfect bodies on social media, they start developing this mindset where anything other than what is perceived as perfect is inferior, disgusting, suboptimal, not good. you know, that kind of thing. So it's really interesting because that's going to be like what gets a lot of people. And I think that's what really builds people to have that perfectionistic, maybe getting into that ED kind of mindset. Where they get into this like body dysmorphia kind of state of mind where they think, oh, my body looks terrible, it's disgusting, how could I like have a roll or something like that, when they're completely healthy and their body looks fine. When you finally realize the size of your body was never that deep. Yeah, I mean, it really isn't that deep as long as you endeavor to be healthy and live a good life. You know, as long as you endeavor to be healthy, your body will follow. And if it's not considered the perfect body, then who gives a shit? Nobody cares.
What? Everyone feels stupid. Who cares? You feel stupid? Yeah, I did. And then I just chose not to feel stupid.
Who's sexy? I'm sexy. Who's sexy? I'm sexy. Who's sexy? I'm sexy.
Some of these girls are just, again, like, they're not even super obese or anything like that. They're just on the chubbier side. And again, like, you can have a really healthy way of living where you're exercising, eating healthy, and taking care of your body, and it might not look perfect. The number one thing to endeavor to do is just eat healthily and take care of your body and live a healthy lifestyle. And then the rest will follow. And if you don't have a perfect body still, who cares? Like, how many people actually care what you look like? Most people don't. As long as your family sees that you're healthy and happy, they don't care. If you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they're probably not going to care that much because as long as they've got something to grab, they're not going to really worry about it. Some people will be a little bit more extreme with that. Some people do want you to look a certain way, but you don't have to date them if that bothers you. The number one thing that actually impairs you looking at yourself like normally and thinking decently of yourself when you're like not perfect is you. It's you and your perception of your body and the way you think about your body and the way you look at your body and the way that you touch your body and the way that you think you're imperfect. That's what actually bothers you. It's not the opinions of other people, it's the opinions that you've got. Most people, even if they see you like full on the beach, wearing a bikini, showing off what you got, most people aren't gonna look at you with any level of disgust unless you actually are like very, very sickly thin or very, very overweight or have some other physical feature that they're paying attention to, like, I don't know, tattoos or something else. But most of the time, people just do not care, and it is you that cares.
Fuck it up. Jersey, fuck it up right now. B-ball, fuck it up right now.
It's about time you fell in love with something that will...
See, this is where we start getting a little bit more extreme because it's like, love your body, it's gonna love you back, things like that. But when we start getting into the more overweight category, then are you actually loving your body and taking care of your body? And will your body be loving you back if you don't take care of it well enough? I'm not trying to say this person's doing super unhealthy things. I don't know their life. I don't know their background. But I'm just saying, when we do more extreme things with our bodies, we should be questioning if we're actually taking care of them properly and if we should accept them when they are like that. You obviously shouldn't be beating yourself up about like the way your body looks, even if you're like overweight or obese, but you should always endeavor to strive for health. That's the main point I'm trying to make when I look at any of these videos and talk about any of this. You can't make a finite judgment on people just because of how they look, but when you start seeing people that are severely morbidly obese or severely overweight, and then you're comparing them to people who are normal and they might just have a little bit of chub to grab, there's a big difference there, especially on a health basis. Again, also, the judging your body thing and your body not judging you thing, your body will judge you if you make poor health decisions. It'll judge you by giving you metabolic disease, giving you pains, joint pains, having you die early, things like that. And I really don't encourage people to like be overly judging or critical of their bodies so much so that they have a really negative perception or relationship, which I hate using, but relationship with their body. But the number one thing is if you don't take care of your body well enough, you will not reap any rewards from your body. You're not going to feel right about your body. And I think that's a very common thing. I think that when you get to an extreme point with your body, severely underweight or overweight, you are going to not be able to cope with your body very easily. And accepting it and loving it the way it will be at those, extreme weights is going to be way harder than if you're just like a normal body type or you have a close to normal body and you're learning to love yourself or accept your body for what it is and what it can do. When you impair what your body can do, you also find it harder to accept your body. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Refusing to apologize for enjoying my life simply because I live it in a bigger body. And this is the thing. Again, you're gonna get to a point with your body where if you're on that extreme side of the spectrum, you're going to not live the best life you can live. That's my opinion. I think that at a certain point, when we get to these extremes, again, super underweight, super overweight, you're not gonna be able to live a good life and you're not gonna be able to take care of your body properly. So I think that it's more of a hateful relationship with you and your body than anything else when you get to those extremes. There's also that important element to it where you might be... There's also an important element to it where you almost are in a state of ignorance. You love your body, but you're doing all these things to your body that are bad. You know, being severely underweight or overweight, you're hurting your body somehow, and yet you love your body, but at the same time, you're not giving it the love that it needs by taking care of it properly. Sometimes love is you presenting a stern output and putting your foot down when you're getting to be at those extremes. And I think that when you stray too far from like the scope of normality and you start getting to those extremes, you're more willing to appeal to delusion and become ignorant towards yourself and appeal to your ignorance so that you can kind of like live with yourself, because if you don't, then you're not going to cope particularly well either.
I remember when I took this video, I thought, a year from now, I'm going to be so different.
So yeah, this person's losing weight from the looks of it. Good for them. If they find they want to make a change for their well-being and lose weight and be healthier so that they can kind of upgrade themselves, I think that's good. Like, I don't think you should be falling into either extreme. And if you find that you're overweight, lose some weight. You know, if you find you're underweight, gain some weight. It's important to learn to balance yourself and balance your perspective on yourself, and also to know that you can do better than where you're currently at. And that's not just on a physical basis, obviously, that's on a mental basis. Like, this person had a whole mindset change from the sound of it. This person sounds like they said, in a year later, I'm gonna be doing so much better. They changed their mindset, not just their body. So that's also an important variable. Like, what are you changing about your life? What are you changing about yourself? What are you doing for yourself that's gonna change the name of the game? It's super important to consider when you're doing these things or having any kind of lifestyle change. So yeah, my people, that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think about body positivity as a whole? Bypassing like the typical stereotypes that people tend to fall into when it comes to body positivity. What do you think about it? And yeah, that's the video. So I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time, my people. It has been lovely. Slater.